Wanaka reflections on the independence of the judiciary in modern times.
The head of state says it's the NRM government that brought politics of unity as opposed to the tribalism, and this has ensured peace and security throughout the country, which previously was unheard of. While officiating at the 50th memorial lecture of the late Chief Justice Bendikito Kiwanuka Magumba at the judiciary headquarters in Kampala, President Museveni said, due to the tribalism, Ugandans failed to agree for a common goal, like getting rid of the former President Idi Amin, who ordered for the abduction and killing of former Chief Justice Bendikito Kiwanuka Magumba.
We salute Ben Kiwanuka, but please, Ugandans, the political class, let's not lose new opportunities. NRM has been able to keep you together for 35 years now. That's why we are moving. But I appeal to you all, consolidate, support this unity, this approach of Agali Awamuge Kokorachi.
He saluted the late Chief Justice Bendikito Kiwanuka, whom he described as the principled man, saying that it was unfortunately that he ended up working for the wrong government of Idi Amin.
For us, we had a different view. He should not have joined Idi Amin. Idi Amin was not somebody Kiwanuka should have been Chief Justice for. This was a missed opportunity because that time, if we had all said Amin out, all, DP, Kabaka UPC, we who are now forming our own group, what became NRM, if we had all said Amin out, it would have been easier. But again, we had different positions.
He held Chief Justice Kiwanuka for standing firm against the tribe chiefism of Mengo, saying not to push tribe agendas, but advocating for the national position.
This is really what I would advise Ugandans, not just the lawyers and so on. The chauvinism of Mengo should have been rejected, because you can see how many opportunities we lost. We lost 1962 to have a unanimous position and say no to Mengo. Stop. I can assure you, if Obote had joined Ben, there would have been no trouble in Uganda.
The Chief Justice Alfonso Unyidoro thanked the family of Bendikito Kiwanuka for giving Uganda their son, who served as a politician, as a private practitioner, and Chief Justice of Uganda.
We man this court with competent judicial officers. We are going to have regional or even sub-regional inspectorates where each judicial officer, and I've said this, and some people have when I said, including the Chief Justice, should know that there are people who are going to breathe over his neck.
Chief Justice Doro saluted President Museveni for the support to the judiciary, especially the administration of the Judiciary Act of 2020 and enactment of the judiciary budget that has greatly improved service delivery of judiciary. However, he called for the recruitment of judicial officials in commercial court.
You found money for me to recruit 10 more judges. I would release within 12 calendar months all these trillions of shillings that would make a monumental impact on the economy of Uganda.
So that's very interesting. I'm going to take it up because that one is much faster than settling marriages and what have you. Okay.
The keynote speaker, Professor Emmanuel Asiakote, a Ghanaian Supreme Court judge, spoke highly about the independence and the financial autonomy of the judiciary for it to perform better.
To achieve this, it is thought that the processes for the appointment to and promotion in the judiciary must be merit-based and free from extraneous consideration. It is also required that once appointed, judges must have security of tenure and shall not be removed or dismissed except upon stated grounds and after a quasi-judicial process.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, promised to support the President in strengthening the judicial and other arms of the government to work as a team.
Something myself and the learned Attorney General are determined to promote so that we act together as Uganda, not the judiciary flying its own flag, the executive flying its own flag, and the legislature flying its own flag, because indeed we are a rope of three strands.
The Principal Judge Emeritus Yolokamba Mwine and the late Justice Letitia Mukasa Chikonyogo at the function were awarded for their service and integrity in the judiciary. It is now 5 years since the judiciary declared the annual memorial lecture for the late Chief Justice Benedicto Chiwanuka. The colorful ceremony was attended by hundreds of guests, physical and online, among others State Minister for Defense, Honorable Oboth, the family of the late Benedicto Chiwanuka, and the function was held at the judiciary headquarters in Kampala. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Now, more from the Fountain of Honor, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni this week launched Radio 7 and laid a foundation stone for Masindi 5-star hotel owned by events promoter Balam Barugahare. President Museveni, who was in company of the First Lady, was received by area security chiefs, political leaders, religious leaders, and the host himself, that is Balam Barugahare.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni this weekend spent the entire Saturday in Masindi district. The president was in company of the First Lady, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, was received in Masindi municipality by area politicians, security chiefs and religious leaders. First on the tour program was the commissioning of Radio 7 owned by events promoter Balam Barugahara.
Mr. President kankugambire tuli omugambye nti muno nanyi n'obweraliikiri muno gondo rundi tonyikiriza nnyo okwikembu bwe baba nkikugambire abaana banu Mr. President itu abali batanayiwoli bato mu byalo okwo abaana banu abatukuzaara kandi tusomesa employment is a big issue.
Bishop abandi abazaire ba Baram na Buruganda na banyora abandi nyona na nyonda abariza kuri hati okusima kino elni raka yokubaza.
During the event, the president was wished a belated happy birthday.
Birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Yoweri, happy birthday to you.
Later, the president laid the foundation stone of the 5-star hotel owned by the son of the soil, Balam Barugahara, before convening a regional leaders meeting.
I said, okay, I have a radio in Kampala, I have a radio in Juba, I have a factory, but what do I have home? So I decided 2 years ago that I come here and build a 5-star.
For hundreds of residents who wanted to interact with the president, an open venue was organized at Masindi Golf Course grounds. In company of the First Lady Janet Museveni, the president was received amidst cheers. President Museveni reminded Masindi people to embrace the NRM manifesto for poverty alleviation.
Mtamani wetu Balam Barugahara nimurora byakozera hamwe agiriho radio ahasenteze ingozo ninyenda kumuyabaza abukai aize mu radio mu 7 nukwagize 7 over na manisha muno muguruso mu 7 icyari kumaniso.
The president also stressed that through services like hotels, teaching and ICT, Ugandans can kick poverty out of their area.
Government eresoro obusinge mukyeka kino yakora enguudo kukumutuzurara zona yaleta amashanyarazi tukajumbura amashita umuruhangaho nabwo icyo ebyo gukora biriho konka iwe olina kumanya okworareja.
President Museveni also addressed the issue of the parish development model.
Ahamuruka abamataka make abahikina nogaruka hansi ntubahabura icyo kukora kandi tubateraho sente zo kubayamba.
The pre-arranged thank you President Museveni party wrapped up the president's trip as Masindi Golf Course grounds later turned into a partying ground for hundreds till morning. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Masindi.
Thanks, Robert Onyango. Now, in other news, Queen Elizabeth II was early this week laid to rest as thousands stood along the streets to bid farewell to the late Queen who had led the British monarch for 70 years. The Queen was lowered into the royal vault ahead of the family burial. The service in the grounds of Windsor Castle was the last of the public events before she is laid to rest next to her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh. Now, earlier on, the Queen's body had been taken to St. George Chapel for the final service where King Charles III received royal instruments signifying a state of a change taken over from his mother. In the meantime, the ceremonial events were the culmination of the nearly 10 days of public arrangements condemned Operation London Bridge, honoring Elizabeth's remarkable life. From a young princess who was not born to be queen, but to be a sovereign who redefined the role and won almost universal admiration.
And standing there on the right of the picture, the Queen's pony or horse, Emma. When the Duke of Edinburgh had his funeral here, the driving carriage that he used to use was brought out to the quadrangle. Here from the Mews of Windsor, the grooms who work in the Royal Mews, and this black. The King's Troop, Royal Horse Artillery, about to fire. They weren't renamed the Queen's Troop. There's the bell firing, the hammer on the left of it. They weren't renamed the Queen's Troop. Queen Elizabeth said they should be called the King's Troop in honor of her father, and the same thing is going to happen. And the Queen's piper will play a lament, and the Garter King of Arms will read out the styles and titles of the Queen. And the regalia presented at the coronation will be removed and put on the high altar. And the Queen's company camp colour will be placed on the coffin by the King, and the Lord Chamberlain will break his wand in half.
Love and serve the Lord, rejoicing in the power of the Holy Spirit. And the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be amongst you and remain with you always. Amen.
It hath pleased Almighty God to take out of this transitory life unto his divine mercy the late, most high, most mighty, and most excellent monarch, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of her other realms and territories, Queen, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith, and sovereign of the most noble Order of the Garter.
And now the congregation stands in silence as the instruments of state which were received by the Queen at the coronation are received by the Dean of Windsor, who places them on the high altar. The sceptre, which was received by the Queen as the ensign of kingly power and justice. And finally, the imperial state crown, which the Archbishop of Canterbury placed on her head in Westminster Abbey with the words, "May she be filled with abundant grace and princely virtues."
By the grace of God, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of his other realms and territories, King, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith, and Sovereign of the Most Noble Order of the Garter.
The committal service here at St George's Chapel has ended. The Queen's coffin, which has been seen by so many thousands over these past days, lowered out of sight into the vault to lie later alongside the coffins of her husband, her mother, and her father and her sister.
Now bringing you back home, the Minister in charge of Information, Communication and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomonsi, denied allegations that Uganda Broadcasting Corporation risks to be switched off from satellite over unpaid accumulated arrears. The Minister says government is stepping in to bail out the station.
Yes, in the past, UBC has suffered financial challenges, but it will not be switched off. It will not be switched off. If it has any debts that has accumulated as it carries out work, government will have to support UBC and clear those debts, because it is our official channel through which we reach out the population of Uganda. And the UBC must remain a priority for the government of Uganda. So those stories are uncalled for. I know because of COVID and other related challenges, we have had some financial stress as a country, like many other countries, which stress could have affected budgets of different institutions, including UBC, but this will be sorted out. This will be sorted out.
A joint plan on how to improve Uganda's health security capacity aimed at preventing, detecting and responding to public health issues has been rolled out. The joint health plan is to be spearheaded by the Office of the Prime Minister in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and other government agencies.
Ministry of Health has announced an outbreak of Ebola in Mubende district. The ministry has confirmed the suspected case patient was a 24-year-old male who was referred from a clinic to Mubende Regional Referral Hospital, where samples were drawn and taken to Uganda Virus Research Institute. The results released on Monday, 19th September, confirmed the suspect had Ebola of Sudan strain. The confirmed index case died in the morning of Monday 19th, and the body is still at Mubende Regional Referral Hospital mortuary waiting for safe burial.
We are trying to gather all the information as we got the results last evening. So we shall be providing this update more regularly, and we shall also be able to tell the country where we have reached. But we're also going to issue further the SOPs, the guidelines that the public need to observe.
The Ministry of Health is stressing for the contacts to the deceased. Between 1st and 15th September, 6 deaths occurred in Kiruma and Madudu sub-counties, 3 adults and 3 children.
Community deaths, which were in the cluster of one same family, And since they were buried, we cannot say these were confirmed. As Commissioner Allen said, it is suspected because this particular confirmed case was part of that family.
There will, however, be no vaccination against Ebola since government has no vaccines for Ebola Sudan strain.
A vaccine that works on Ebola Sudan. So the consideration for vaccine, even for Ebola Zaire, we don't do mass vaccination, we do targeted vaccination or ring vaccination. So this case, we're not considering vaccination yet.
Symptoms of Ebola include sudden onset of fever, fatigue, chest pain, vomiting, diarrhea, unexplained and yellowing of the eyes. The Ministry of Health cautions the public to remain calm. This is the second outbreak of the Sudan Ebola strain outbreak in Uganda. The first case was reported in Welo district in 2012. Miriam Womcha and Adiana Kuti, UBC News.
Chisoro District has hosted the first ever Chigezi Investment Summit and a free zone. The summit, which attracted area leaders, was officially launched by the Minister for Finance, Amatia Kasaija, who tasked communities around Chigezi region to take advantage of the investment opportunities extended to the region. He was launching the Chigezi Investment Summit and free zone in Chisoro District.
Chisoro District has hosted the first ever Chigezi Investment Summit during an event held in Chisoro Municipality and attended by who is who in the country, mainly from Ministry of Finance. The summit was held at the 620 acres of land recently offered to Uganda Investment Authority by Chisoro District, an industrial park. Chisoro is slated to change the business landscape in Uganda. Chisoro is located between the border with Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo in southwestern Uganda. The chairperson, Chisoro District, Abel Bizimana, asked government to open access routes in the area to ease movement of goods and also to strengthen security.
So this place has never had a permanent colonial master. That's why there is limited infrastructure except one church called Mtorere, where they established where to pray as they dig down our minerals underground.
Where possible, we shall keep on working hand in hand with all stakeholders in this activity so that we see its positive fruits at the end of the day.
The board chairman, Uganda Investment Authority, Morrison Rakakamba, promised new investment opportunities and tax-friendly incentives to Chisoro and Chigezi generally.
Uganda also has the fastest growing workforce in the region and flexible labor regulations, a key advantage for companies investing in labor-intensive operations. The average annual growth is at 3.9, and the average labor cost for unskilled and skilled population excluding social security costs is 440, which is the lowest in the East African Community region.
The Minister of State for Finance, in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, re-echoed government's promise for a fair and friendly tax environment.
The cost of money for investment should have a favorable interest rate. And we want to believe we have UDB in this room.
Yeah.
By the time we end this engagement, they should be able to tell you the opportunities we offer through UDB. We should have an environment where we have the free, not free, but cheap cost of electricity.
State Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, who also doubles as Chisoro Woman Member of Parliament, Sarah Mateke, said Chisoro is a nature-gifted district and most suitable investment destination.
I want to tell the investors that investing in Chisoro, you will not be wrong and you will not go wrong.
The summit was also attended by a number of ministers, including the former Minister for Agriculture, Trace Buchanayandi, Ethics and Integrity, Jameson Sababuturo, and area MPs. Minister of State for Finance and Investment, Evelyn Aniti, advised youth to use the opportunity of industrial parks to get employed.
The challenge and the question that I face in social media is that, but the problem is, Honorable Aniti, that the industries are there, but the quality of the salary that you pay to the young people is not sufficient. Honorable Minister, I get so many young people coming to my office. Their first worry is not how much I should be paid. Their first worry is I need a job.
While launching the Kigezi Region Business Summit and Free Zone, Minister for Finance Matia Kasaija said it is for Kigezi to shine mainly in cross-border trade.
Let me use this opportunity to tell the people who are in Congo here, there is no need why you should be fighting. I'm talking about the Ugandans. If you can surrender, UPDF will stop hunting you. And anybody who has a relative over there, send him that message and say, you come back home.
Minister Kasaija called upon both domestic and foreign investors to take advantage of the ready market in Chisoro's neighboring districts.
If you think there is a law that is squeezing you and we should change it, we shall look at that and study the case. And if you have a good case, we shall change the law. We want you to make money. There's nobody who invests without wanting to make money. We want you to prosper. We want you to expand. We want you to make to employ more Ugandans. But of course also, I want my taxes.
Now moving on, State Minister for Housing, Persis Namuganza, says her life is in danger. This follows what she describes as an attempt on her life that she says was narrowly ended by suspected assassins in Bokoto, Kampala on Wednesday evening. Namuganza says this happened shortly after the Wednesday evening parliamentary sitting. She also says that Kira Road police responded fast enough and investigations are currently ongoing. Namuganza's outcry comes after a similar concern by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, about 2 weeks ago.
Yesterday, when we left Parliament here on our way back home, we were attacked by some people who were on the bike, but one of them rode near my vehicle and used the unknown object, but a hard object, to smash the side where I was. Fortunately, I saw him raising his hand and I did like this. I was not hurt. The sound was so intense as we even almost rammed into other vehicles. But God's grace, we managed the situation. Investigations have started. This was around 7 after the house, but around that Bemuga house, Nibukoto, where the street lights are. And the culprit managed to escape through the route of Kisas Road. But the Kila police station, Kila Road police station responded very fast. And I want to thank them for the quick response. And they are carrying on the investigations with other teams, which His Excellency has sent to review the footage and see. But according to the few video footages, they have allowed me to see this person followed us from town when we had just left the house. But we hope the police will do their work and other security organs to inform Ugandans who are those people who are after my life. But also, as a responsible person, I found that it's prudent to inform the public and the people I lead and tell them that I think my life is useless. There have been some warnings, but I have always tried to manage. But what happened yesterday has really confirmed to me that my life is in danger. But the God who saved me yesterday will save me.
More updates that are transpired during the week. 20-member verification committee did clear the 28 aspirants for the East African Legislative Assembly. The candidates have been warned on littering Parliament premises ahead of election date. That is on Thursday, the 29th September 2022. Meanwhile, the opposition wing has remained indecisive on their position in the election, despite having some candidates in the exercise.
Mbarara City South Member of Parliament Mwine Mpaka, who was selected to steer the 20-member committee to verify aspirants for the East African Legislative Assembly, has presented his report to Parliament.
In this particular case, all persons that appeared before the committee had academic qualifications and none sought to use an affidavit or statutory declaration to validate academic documents.
Mpaka's report gives way to all the 28 aspirants to compete for the 9 available slots in the Iyala Assembly. This follows the committee's failure to come across any objection to the contestants, as they all had the requirements.
Lastly, the committee established that the aspirants came from different political parties and interest groups and from both the genders as indicated below.
The findings of the verification committee were adopted despite some MPs poking holes on the exercise.
One of the candidates submitted by the NRM, this Parliament did not approve him to be a minister on the ground of lack of academic qualification. One of the candidates of NRM.
All the candidates of NRM party, which you've referred to, are current members of EARA voted by this Parliament. Now, the same Parliament voted that member. And I was in the 10th Parliament. I never saw 10th Parliament, receiving that member's name.
The opposition wing held a closed-door meeting but failed to agree on a unanimous position in the upcoming elections, threatening to boycott the course.
And we have looked at these positions as being used to try and patronize the opposition. At the end of our long conversation, we did not declare any support for any candidates from the opposition, because our position to participation is still equivocal.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, is concerned of some candidates who have a tendency of littering the Parliament premises in disguise of campaigns. The elections are set for Thursday, 29th September 2022. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
Now, stakeholders advocating for women and girls' rights want them involved in the decision-making and implementation of the laws which aim at defending their rights. This was disclosed during the National Stakeholders Dialogue 2022 that attracted women and girls' rights activists.
My name is James Yesiga, and I'm the Country Director for Terede Homes Netherlands, the organization that is leading other organizations that form part of the consortium that implements the She Leads program. The She Leads program targets young girls and women, supporting them and developing their capacities to take part in decision-making at different levels, where decisions that affect their lives and well-being are made. One of the identified areas where we feel girls need to focus and claim their rights is in the area of budgeting and budget allocation at various levels, from local government to districts and up to the national level. Over time, we've noticed that first of all, the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, where women, girls, and children belong, is one of the least funded ministries in Uganda. But over time, we've noticed that even when these small budgets are allocated to the ministry, this ministry is more vulnerable to budget cuts than any other ministries when the time for budget cutting comes up. This is very unfortunate. How can the least funded ministry be the one facing the highest level of budget cuts when those budget cuts have to be done? So one of the spaces where we want to support these girls to claim their rights, but also to ensure that the resources that are allocated for their own well-being are respected and are utilized for that purpose, is in the area of budget allocation, but also budget protection.
Persons with hearing impairments, need more sign language interpreters, and in the public facilities, especially hospitals and schools, among others. This was during the celebrations to mark the Day of the Deaf held at Iganga Municipal Council Primary School in Iganga District.
The National Day of the Deaf People has been celebrated in Iganga District at Iganga Municipal Primary School, which started by marching. The event was presided over by the Minister of Gender, Betty Amongi, who represented the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja. Persons living with hearing impairments want placement of interpreters in public facilities to help them access public places. During the event, NGOs provided free services, including health services. The Vice Chairperson of UNAD, Bibian Esaite, asked government to improve on the reproductive services of the deaf people and provision of sign language interpreters.
Access to sexual and reproductive health among these deaf persons is still a very, very big challenge.
The chairperson Iganga, Ezra Gabula, hailed government for promoting gender equality as the woman MP Sandra Kahunde promised to fight for their rights.
Since 2011, over 150 PWD groups have benefited from the disability grant, where our people received the funds to invest in projects.
And my appeal as we celebrate this day is to urge my colleagues that we come and advocate for the laws and policies that will lead to investment of the different programs of the disabled in the House.
The Minister for Gender, Betty Amongi, promised to come up with recruitment of sign language interpreters in all public facilities to ease services.
I have today learned a lot that this sign language, we have been thinking about only placing them to interpret on television and government, international community day, and we have not thought about it deeply, learned and go with a strong resolve to make sure that we work together to provide these services.
The minister later handed over a dummy check of 70 million shillings from the ministry to 14 disabled groups in Iganga for development. She also gave out certificates to outstanding persons to the deaf, which also included the Vision Group presenter, Sarah Oringa. Oringa appreciated the recognition certificate and promised more advocacy.
The deaf community, thank you so much for loving me and thank you so much for supporting us as Vision Group.
The Uganda National Students Association has asked government to extend the school fees loan to secondary schools in order to benefit vulnerable students. This was revealed by the Executive Secretary Wonsa Cherukut Atoskin during the election of the new council members at Mengo School.
Uganda National Students Association was initiated with the aim of fostering quality education to learners. Government of this cause came up with a students' fees scheme, which grants students school fees loans and paid on completion of their courses. However, Wonsa executive says this loan is limited to higher institutions of learning only.
We are thinking that the Higher Education Students Financing Board should be strengthened by government so that money meant for school loans be increased. Apparently, they are giving them less than 5 billion. If they can increase it to about 30 billion, so that we direct all these students to go and request for loans, not only for university, not only, but even for secondary. That's what we are thinking about, and we are requesting for a meeting with the PS and probably the minister to listen to us.
If this loan scheme can be extended to the students in secondary school, I think it would be very helpful, because some of these disadvantaged students are not able to pay up and they subsequently drop out of school. But if there's this opportunity, I think it would be assisting the learners to excel and enjoy the privilege of having secondary education.
The Executive Secretary Wonsa Cherukushto Skin says one of the challenges Wonsa is battling is the misplacement of students' results.
Biggest challenges we are facing is head teachers denying students examinations, UNEB exams. That has been the heaviest challenge. So you find students have registered, then along the way, before they sit exams, something happens and then they are suspended. So when they are suspended, they have the option of sitting exams at school, being escorted by probably policemen, or the school allows them to sit exams without what? Escorts.
Like other institutions, Wonsa was also affected by COVID-19, especially with the girls who fell victim of teenage pregnancy and could no longer make it to school. The executive has asked government to support it.
One of the impacts of COVID-19 on the girl child was dropout. See, we saw some female students dropping out of school, some becoming mothers at very tender age, some contracted even diseases. For example, AIDS, because of the COVID situation. So on the issue of COVID, we've partnered with Uganda AIDS Commission to run a campaign of end AIDS within schools.
Students under the Wonsa umbrella share benefits of the association towards their study.
One of the grateful moments that I've had as a member of the Uganda National Students Association is that I've gotten to know more about my country. Hence I've developed a spirit of patriotism, love for my country, love for the leaders that we have, and respecting them, because those are the core values that UNSA imparts in its students.
Today it has been such a great honor that we were invited right from last term, and it took me chance and thought to run for this post. As a matter of fact, I am offering biology, chemistry, mathematics, ICT. That's a very hard combination for those that assume to say it that way, but I am here to take this sacrifice on, ready to serve the students, ready to serve prior beyond the boundaries of Nabisunsa Girls School.
UNSA has benefited me a lot. UNSA has helped me to build up that self-confidence. It has shown me that I can be a force in changing the nation. It has shown me that together we can stand up as students, we can be recognized, we can also get a say, we can be, some great people in this country.
What I've benefited from it is that it's encouraging me to get more self-esteem among the students and me myself. It's encouraging me to stand, because if I get voted today, because I'm standing for the post of Secretary for Women Affairs.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Returning shortly after these messages, and we shall be looking at a business updates that did transpire during this whole week.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed, and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Yo! Airtel is giving you bigger data bundles for the same price. Dial *175# to choose from our range of bigger Chillax bundles that don't expire and stay connected longer to loved ones. Airtel, the smartphone network.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Get the 4G smartphone of your dreams today and pay as you use. Choose from the Tecno Pop 5 Pro, Tecno Pova Neo, Samsung A03 Core or Nokia C10 and pay conveniently in daily, weekly and monthly installments for a period of a year using Airtel Money. You will also enjoy free 3GB and 100% bonus data on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months. Visit any D-Lite shop or select Airtel Money branches countrywide and get one today. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. Good to know you're still following up the activities of the week during this newscast where we bring you the weekly news roundup. My name is Sandra. Now straight into business updates. Beneficiaries of the Emyoga program have been advised to maintain unity in the journey to prosperity. This was during a performance monitoring message to Kamuli District by Microfinance Support Center, wrap-up in Busoga sub-region.
The State Minister for Microfinance, Cheyune Kasolo, has asked beneficiaries of Emyoga to operate in groups to reap from the program.
Membership, mobilization, member mubena bangi mu bibiina by'okwegasi obungi bw'abamemba bwe bugagga bw'ekibiina. Ekibiina ekirina bamemba batono kiba kyavu, ekibiina ne bamemba bangi kiba kigagga.
He said this while sensitizing SACCO members in Kamuli District. According to the resident district commissioner, Rose Birungi, the presidential initiative has seen exponential economic growth and gradual eradication of poverty in the communities of Kamuli.
We appreciate that with this program, at least people have learnt the saving culture. Before then, before the Emyoga program came into existence, people did not have that culture, but at least they have got that culture, they are saving together and they are working together.
Finance Trust Bank has applauded the program for it has facilitated growth of financial literacy in the community.
The Emyoga circles have actually given us a mileage, like I said earlier on before, that our savings have improved. And when I look at the relationship between the bank and then these circle members, it has really improved. We have gone an extra mile of actually fishing out from these individual members, where they have been able to come for loans to sustain their businesses, and really you see that their lives have improved, their incomes have improved, and indeed even the bank has increased the volumes in, like I said, in savings.
Beneficiaries whose enterprises were not doing well were rekindled by the Emyoga seed capital and now can sustainably support livelihoods through their revamped businesses. Kamuli District has 71 registered SACCOs. It received seed capital of 2.24 billion, loans disbursed at 1,112,304,000 shillings, accumulated savings of 1,363,725,933 shillings and recoveries now at 1,035,471,600 shillings. Reporting for UBC News, Wadulo Makanold Kagoro Joshua in Kamuli District.
Now, in other activities from business, Moroto Municipal Council has given vendors 2 weeks to vacate Moroto Central Market streets. However, the vendors have vowed not to vacate the streets since Moroto Municipal Council has failed to fix challenges at the market.
A number of vendors in Moroto Central Market are not at peace with the leadership of the municipality. This follows a 2 weeks ultimatum issued by the municipality, led by the mayor Mohammed Ismail and attended by the town clerk Vincent Okrut, that vendors leave the streets.
Who are outside the markets to enter and trade from inside the market, and we issued a notice. We gave them a 2 weeks notice.
So that market was built for them. If there are challenges, we'll address as they are there in the same place. We're going to evict all of them and put them there.
The vendors are, however, opposed to the directive, claiming that there is some amount of favoritism.
They were allocating and their location was not true. The location, they said that first come, first serve. And for those who have the number, they cross it. They said that thing, we don't want it.
They told us that you all people go to the market. We all went as we were being instructed to go. Reaching there, we got all the spaces, front spaces. They have occupied all, but one tribe on almost 10 sabines. We settled there our businesses, we brought things, but customers were not able to reach there. Our things got rotten. We poured almost all the things which we had bought.
Iko mzabei ama kama wewe iko mchuli ama mteso anachukua yeye nyuma huko. Lakini huko nyuma watu habana nunua vitu. Customers yote nakuja mbele. Na sasa kama nakuja mbele wananunua vitu ya wakisi.
However, vendors inside the market, especially salon operators, restaurants, among others, are also not amused by the management of the market and incessant electricity and water outages.
We have to look for a place where there is power, and now you come here to open at around 11. It is when you come and open. When you get that business, you go out, you close it here. I was there. I used to open. I was ever the first here. But since that day, in fact, for these 3 weeks where power is not there, I'm not opening in right time. And you find that my customers can call. That way.
It's like we don't have whom to talk to. The market is empty as if it doesn't have administration. So we don't have what to talk to the problem we have. You can see there is a toilet. People you cannot send there to the toilet, which is using water, but there is no water at all.
Traders also decry uncollected garbage in the market that makes it look bad.
The way the market is closed. What will happen in this rain season? We are going to get outbreak of diseases, and of which we may end up closing the market because of hygiene. Issue of cleaners payment has not been effected. Cleaners have worked for this the 9th month. They have not been paid.
That's reaching here, the lorry could not bring down the skippers. So we called Victoria Motors and they came, they tried to fix it, failed, they have taken it back for repair. So what they have discovered is the pump for bringing down the skipper is faulty. So local government to fast track the process so that we have the truck back.
Mayor Mohammed blames the situation to needless bureaucracy.
Revenue and remitted to the center. By the time it comes back, you find people lose patience and the situation goes out of hand. So my appeal to government, of course, to revert this local revenue. We spend it from here that would address some of those issues.
Moroto Municipality Town Clerk Okrut promised that issues at stake will be fixed in time to offer residents ample business environment. I'm Nafka Farida and Moriniga.
Many thanks for watching and staying with us. Those are some of the updates, activities that did transpire during the entire week. But for more activities as far as today is concerned, do look out for our news bulletins later on in the evening, and keep watching UBC. We have a great program coming your way as far as this weekend is concerned. My name is Sandra Kahunde, and from the entire team behind the scene, wish you a great sun and of course a blessed weekend, a blessed week ahead as you continue to enjoy this particular weekend.